Hey there. What's up? Great. On our play for this week. Oh, I did not scroll. What a shame. What is going on with Bungie's next big game marathon? Are you one of the lucky hundreds already playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 early? Big announcements are coming to Gamescom 2024, as well as a tease from
I'm
Marvel
gonna need you to
Rivals.
enunciate that better next time.
Which one? Which one?
Just, people listening,
Everything?
you know what you heard. Go ahead.
Oh, did I say something? Oh
It's
no.
just
I'll
continue.
I'll catch this in playback. All this and more on season 8, episode 32 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. I feel like I'm in trouble and I'm not sure exactly why, but I'll figure it out later on. See, the thing is, I'm reading off the script, so I didn't have the video feed up. So I couldn't even catch your reaction yet to know, like, oh crap, I may have said something. But I feel like I said something with big and huh. Okay, we'll figure that out. All right. Where was
You
I?
you enunciated it that time.
Oh, did
Go
I?
ahead, continue.
Oh, hey, look, it's early because this is Press X Start Gamers Digest, a video podcast that connects the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday when we can make it because life is hard.
But listening to us is easy.
Yes, it is. Don't forget to support us by liking this very video you are currently watching, subscribing to the very channel you are currently watching, and hitting the notification bell. If you're listening and you're not looking at me directly in my eyes, you can do us a service by leaving us a review, telling a friend, telling a loved one, and even telling an enemy. Yes, an enemy as well. Um, Once you do those things, you can also join our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. There we have conversations of video games, One Piece. I still have not been able to purge the One Piece talk that is happening in this chat. It is just too much for me to just deal with.
I mean,
So
would
it's
you
there.
purge Jesus from your life, sir? That's how big it is.
it's
You just need to get
it's
on
hard to
board.
do, Sean. It's in our blood or something that I've been told. I don't know. All right. That is it. That is who we are. That is what this is. So let us jump into the next thing. That is the gaming news. Number one, new marathons report raises questions about Bungie's big gamble. This comes to us from Forbes by way of Paul Tassi. So last week we talked about Bungie just being in not even hot water. The water is boiling. They have lost over 200 people. I think the total
The
now
pot's not on
is
fire. The water is gone.
yes.
You ever
I
had
think
that
the
happen to
total
you?
the what? Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. When the water is completely boiled out, yeah. It's like oops.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But yes, I think the total number of layoffs happening in Bungie is like 300 now because there was a bunch that happened in last year October, and then we have the
Mhm.
ones that happened last week. So right now, yes, Bungie is in the pot is on fire. The water is completely boiled out. Things are happening to the point where PlayStation has come in, or I should say, Sony has come in and essentially they're going to take over Bungie and hopefully get things worked out. But the question has been on Marathon. What is happening with Marathon? Because that's supposed to be their next big game. We saw a trailer of Marathon that actually I'm about to show right now. We saw a trailer of Marathon last year
Mhm.
during PlayStation's State of Play, where they had their whole um
It was a
future.
stylized cinematic thing. Like it was no gameplay.
Yes, yes,
It looked cool, but
yes.
we had no idea other than it looks like it's a shooter what it actually is. So I mean,
Yeah. So
mm,
from what we know of the trailer is that it is going to be from what we know from their detailing that it's going to be an extraction shooter. So they're trying to jump on that extraction bandwagon that it's sort of just here now. It's not really gone yet, but it's yeah. So we've had no updates since this first trailer they showed. That is, as Sean said, like hyper stylized. It looks really cool. But Jason Schreier has did his due diligence
the
and
bane of any ne'er do well's existence.
yes. And he has essentially an update, but Paul Tassi is essentially covering what he put together in his giant, he as in Jason Schreier, in his giant like story about what's happening with Bungie and behind the scenes. So I'm going to read from the article. We still know very little about Marathon, with all information from Bungie's limited to a trailer, a brief viadoc, and an announcement that game director Chris Barrett had been replaced with former Valorant director Joe Ziegler.
It's
Ziegler?
Legler.
So yeah. Behind the scenes, rumors have been all over the place, and the latest I will lend some credence to, given it comes. Actually, hold on, I didn't even. Wait, let me take a quick little. Okay, cool. Um, Given that it comes from an ever reliable Jason Schreier from Bloomberg. On Friends Per Second podcast, Schreier says that the sentiment around Marathon is not great from what I've heard. There's been a reason it was planned for this year and slipped a whole year. People I've talked with or I talked to are a little pessimistic about it even hitting its current planned deadline, which is next year. And that's kind of scary to hear. But we'll see. I don't know exactly what that is. Sometimes in 2025, I'm not sure. So that's the quote. So yeah, Jason Schreier was on a Friends Per Second podcast, and he commented on this. So this doesn't look good, or this doesn't
Yeah.
sound great for Marathon, especially after this whole shakeup with the whole layoffs and Bungie and Sony coming in and just kind of reformatting things. The one thing I will say that this reminds me of the articles and stuff that came out about
Mhm.
Fable, saying that Fable was kind of in a rough shape, not sure where it's looking, and then the literally like the Summer Game Fest,
Facts.
Microsoft blah,
Yeah.
they had Fable there, and it looked
Amazing.
relatively good. So there's a possibility that this can be the same way where it's like, we know that game development is hard. And I think even Neil Druckmann, no, not Neil Druckmann, God of War creator,
Oh,
the-
Jaffe or something like that.
not Jaffe, the new one.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, 2018 guy. Like
Corey Barlog.
yes. I think he even made a comment that like the game didn't really come together until like near the end or something, where it's like once
Yeah.
all the pieces merge. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like it could be rough right now. Like there's a worst case and a best case is, right? The worst case is
Mhm.
that this game is completely fucked. Like it's just not looking great. Like it's it's just in a rough shape. They don't know what they're gonna do. Like the deadlines might not hit for next year. It might be pushed past. That's just all bad news,
So,
right?
well, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
But the best case scenario is that the game was rough in a previous state. We don't know where it is currently. And if it's slated for next year, that is at least like 4 months away, 5 months away, at least, if it drops in January, which it probably won't. So there's definitely time for it to get better. So it's one of those things where it's like, actually, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not looking for this to come out in 2025. I'm wondering what Bungie was pushing for versus like what Sony's looking for from it now, because the Bungie that was when it was at first, incepted, Marathon ain't what it is now. They've
Mhm.
lost a lot of people, probably core talent. Um,
So we're actually going to talk about the people they lost in the next article or the
yeah,
next, yeah.
but
But yeah, go ahead.
ultimately, what I'm thinking is Sony normally lets their first and second parties cook. Let them take their time and make something. I'm wondering how soon Sony is stepping in and what they're gonna do about this ultimately. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's just funny that Sony had Bungie judging all their other live service stuff when Bungie really didn't have their own house in order.
yeah. And honestly, really and truly, like that was one of the things I was talking about. Was like, it's wild that I think when we were talking about the Last of Us thing, is like
Mhm.
it's wild that they have Bungie in the seat of power when it's just like their live service game has just survived. Like that's the one thing that you can give Destiny flowers for, that it's survived all this time for 10 years. Like it had its ups and it had its big downs, but
Yeah.
they managed to just keep it afloat essentially. And again, that's not me saying Destiny 2 or Destiny 1 and 2 is a bad game. They're great games, but as a live service property, it is really hard to just stay ahead or on top of your fan base and like just trying to keep them happy. Like that's a really tough thing to do. And at the end of the day, I think the way that Final Shape ended, like Destiny
Yeah.
Destiny 2 slash Bungie managed to like at least give those players a win who stuck through the entire time.
I just hate that every multiplayer, whatever comes out, has to be a live service now. I miss the
Yeah.
days when they just put out a little bullshit mode for you to have fun with after you beat the game. You
Yeah.
played it for a few months and you kept it pushing. You don't have to. I mean, I guess they have to make money, but I just hate
Yeah.
that they're trying to capture your attention for one game for months, maybe years on end. It
Yeah.
it is what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's what it is. It's just that now with games being like, the HD variant and
Mhm.
having to maintain these servers so the people who are playing the game will keep playing the game, all that costs money. So they have to get that money back in some way. And that's where the live service thing enters the chat,
I mean, I'm not
unfortunately.
I'm not looking for them to maintain the servers for years on end. They, you know, what was it? The original factions. I don't know how many updates they got. You got
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this up until Marcus plays it, but Black Flag had a multiplayer of
Yeah.
side of it. Like,
But I mean, but like I think that's the separation between the consumer and the developer, and that
mhm,
developers want you playing the game, and the consumer is like, all right, well, I'm done with this. I mean, go play something else. So it's just like, all right, we want to bounce to something else, but they're like, no, 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 stay, come on, keep playing, come on, keep here, keep staying here, keep staying here. So
okay,
yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think we need to essentially be cautious about marathon, but also wait to see what the actual update is going to be because hearing that marathon is rough is not necessarily something new
a bad
to.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like, all right, well, that is we
we
don't
don't know
know
what build they saw and all that. How
exactly,
there's time.
exactly.
There's time.
Yeah. So, we just got to wait and see. I mean, me particularly, I I like the art style of this trailer that I'm showing.
Mhm.
It's also to note that I believe the actual art director that created this whole look and feel for Marathon has also left Bungie, so
Uh,
that part kind of sucks too. It's also to note that the change between Chris Barrett, who was the game director, and Joe Zegler is that Chris Barrett wanted create a character people in the game, whereas Joe, the new director, is going more for a hero shooter approach. And I can see them looking at Concord and being like, "Oh, wait a minute. This could be a problem if Concord wasn't received well, as it was also, or it is also a hero shooter with 70s style characters that people are just completely hammering the game over for its art
yeah.
style." Again,
I,
Bungie.
I blame Jordan.
But like, okay, but like Bungie is one for nailing its art style. Like
Hmm.
that's one thing where I'm not super worried about in terms of, oh, these characters are going to look stupid or lame or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Marathon just needs to come out and be a solid extraction shooter, first
Yeah.
person shooter. So yeah, that's that with Marathon. But for the people who are listening, do you think the new Bungie, owned by Sony now, has the ability to make Marathon a success? Let us know. Number two, Sony details Bungie. I'm going to leave the Marathon trailer. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Y'all can see our face in full HD, semi HD, because YouTube streaming is weird. Sony details Bungie Resurrection. No, restructure. Jesus, my eyes. I'm old, guys. I'm old, by the way. I'm just going to start over. Number two. Sony details Bungie restructuring as large portions move to SIE. This comes to us from Forbes by way of, I think this is another Paul Tassi joint. Is this?
Mm-hmm.
I
It
was
is.
right. Paul Tassi. Yep, yep, yep. So we kind of talked about this a little bit last week as well. But why is this doing this? Come on, guys. Come on, Forbes. So yeah, essentially this kind of confirms a lot of the details that, what's Sony's next move for Bungie and what they plan on doing. So Sony president, COO and CFO Hiroki Totoki has now revealed what exactly is happening with a Bungie restructuring in the current briefing. Among the details,
Mm.
among are the details. They missed a word there. Okay. So all of what remains of Bungie itself, about 850 people, will be contained and concentrated into Destiny 2 and Marathon's development. There are no plans to stop development of Destiny 2 despite recent issues, though, as behind the scenes reporting has indicated from Jason Schreier, content will shrink in scale for the foreseeable future. Everything else besides Marathon and Destiny 2 will be moved under SIE. This includes back office functions at Bungie, including many roles that were hit by the layoffs. So this is something that wasn't really mentioned before, is that those 200 employees doesn't seem like to be, or at least a major chunk of it doesn't seem to be development staff. This seems to
Yeah.
be like back office, like payroll staff, which would make sense if Sony's going to take over that stuff. Sony's going to be paying out the Bungie developers now, and it's not going to be Bungie worrying about that stuff. So that kind of that's one thing where it's like that kind of puts in context this whole layoff stuff, and that like maybe Bungie's not necessarily in as bad of a shape development wise that we all assumed after losing 200 people in this last wave of layoffs. So, of course, we'll see. And also, other title development at Bungie will move under SIE. This includes Bungie's Gummy Bears project, which is reported to have 40 people moving to SIE in a new sub studio. This is the first we've heard that this will apply to other projects. Right. This is the first we've heard that this will apply to other projects Bungie is incubating. That's a weird sentence. So yes, Gummy Bears. That's a code name for it's like a MOBA fighting kind
The
of
game.
game. A MOBA game. Yeah, a
Can't
MOBA
wait.
game is like a 3 lanes, um, like RT. Smite is Smite a MOBA game? Dota is a mobile game. I don't know. I don't really play mobile games, guys. So I don't really
Yeah.
know. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then the last bullet is there's more general talk about cost restructuring, portfolio optimization, optimizing studio structure, and enhancing efficiency at Bungie. So all that stuff just means that there's going to be even more changes.
Yeah.
Um, the hope is really and truly that they let go of Pete Park,
Parsons.
CEO. Yeah, he's pretty much one of the big reasons why Bungie is in this mess, in that he sold Sony a bill of goods that was definitely just not going to be the case. And there was nothing Destiny could do sales wise to get them out of this inevitable like situation. So cheers to him and his cars, I guess. Um, so yeah, like, do you have any thoughts on this?
Um, I don't know, man. I hope the
This is
employees
just
are not gonna get this shit end of the stick and they get rolled into Sony proper and Sony treats them
yeah,
well.
yeah,
But past that, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. And I will say that like I feel like, and I also mentioned this last podcast, is that like I definitely think that Bungie is going to be in a better place now, owned by Sony than
Mm,
being independent, because they've always bounced, not always, they've tried their best being independent once they left Activision, but even that was rough goings for them, and that is sort of why they moved in with Sony, because one thing that people aren't talking about is that like if they didn't find a buyer in Sony, Bungie probably wouldn't be around right now.
they'd have
Like,
folded. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like it's really expensive to run a company by yourself that is producing a MMO RPG that is this high quality in Destiny 2. So that's another thing that's not really even been really talked about. But yeah, in terms of this, this is just, things that are happening, and we're not going to really see what the results of this, at least until next year when hopefully Marathon comes out. But yeah, we'll see. Or this whole Bungie, this whole Gummy Bears project, if that comes out sooner, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Number, oh, I still got this Marathon thing just on the side of my head. Dang. Number 3. PlayStation Studio aiming to continuously release hit titles, says Sony. This comes to us from PlayStation Lifestyles by way of Zarmena Khan. So, announcing its first quarter financial results in fiscal year 2024, Sony told investors in an earnings call that, oh, this stupid ad, I can't stand it.
Yeah, scroll down, hit continue.
Yeah. That the studio business group is strengthening its development schedule management and optimizing development projects in order to consistently and continuously release hit titles.
I
AKA, they're just going to
mean,
start releasing games that are considered like
I would
stronger, like
hope that's
basically the
the
first party.
goal of every publisher.
Yes.
Just interesting that he has to say that in an earnings call, but I mean,
Oh man. Oh man. So yeah, meanwhile, Sony's platform business group will focus on maintaining and expanding the number of active PlayStation users while strengthening user engagement. Basically, just getting more people on PlayStation Plus and probably releasing better
mm,
PlayStation Plus monthly titles because they've been lacking for a bit. Other than Remnant 2, Remnant 2 is a great game. If
yeah.
you haven't downloaded it, I think it's too late now,
Did
but
you even play it, DJ?
not yet, but I have it though. I have it. I want to play it. I need people to play it with. And somebody is playing Final Fantasy Rebirth, and we know that's going to take him ages because that game was freaking long.
I'll talk about that later.
Uh-oh. um. So yeah. Where was I in this giant mess of big words? The goal is to establish a stable earning base as a matter of priority. PlayStation did not release any major first party blockbusters this year, but did publish quite a few console exclusives. 3 smaller first party games are scheduled for fall 2024, including Concord, Astrobot, and Lego Horizon Adventures. I actually kind of forgot about Lego Horizon Adventures. But yeah, I mean, they're just essentially the point of this is saying that, hey guys, we didn't release any first party games last year, and 2025 we plan to release some first party games. So it's like, okay, cool. That would be the hope because we need those games to play to be like, hey, look, PlayStation console is a good console to. Anyways, so yeah, there's not much here other than that. You got anything? No.
Nah, nah.
Okay. Number 4. Concord 2 in production readiness stage. At Remedy, Max Payne remake in full production. This comes to us from IGN by way of. Is this a Vicky Blake joint? I don't remember. This is a Vicky. Is this a Vicky? Oh, I'm all the way down in the bottom. Dang. Ryan Dinsdale, not a Vicky Blake joint. So, Concord 2 is now in production readiness stage at Alan Wake developer Remedy Entertainment, while the Concord multiplayer spinoff and Max Payne 1 and 2 remake have entered full production. That's kind of it. I mean, they kind of detail what these statements mean, but that's pretty much the crux of it. Like
Yeah.
Remedy has announced in their financial earnings report that these games are in production. Control 2 is in production readiness state. So that means that it will be moving into full production soon.
Hmm.
Um so I didn't play Control 1. I played a little bit of Control 1, but I thought it was cool. I just don't do great with horror vibe games,
It's
guys.
not
But
a
I don't even
horror
think
game,
it's
man.
not.
Stop
It's
being a
not.
sucker.
And like the first time I played it, I was like, oh, it's kind of spooky. I don't really want to deal with this. Second time I came around and I actually played more of it, but I think I jumped off to play something else because games come out, and I just never went back to it. But I did really like the vibe and how the game played the second time around.
Yeah.
I didn't play I don't plan on playing Alan Wake because that is a
Full
horror
on.
game. Did you play
Yeah.
Alan Wake too?
Nah. If it comes to PlayStation Plus or something, I may look
Yeah,
into it, but I didn't
yeah.
do it.
Oh, also to note about Alan Wake 2 is that they have finally recouped development costs from the game because there was a story when the game came out that like
Yeah.
they literally just broke even. That was kind of it. Or I think they broke even or maybe less than that. But yeah, they finally recouped that. So all is looking well for that studio. Um, what I find interesting is the multiplayer project.
Mhm.
The multiplayer project is nicknamed or codenamed Condor. So that is now the only the only multiplayer game in development at Remedy after it canceled another mysterious project codenamed Kessler in May
Mhm.
2024. Um, so like that, I'm just like, what does a control like multiplayer game look like? Do we know if this is PvE or PvP? Development team has worked on multiple maps and different mission types, and we have organized a growing amount of internal and limited external playtesting for feature validation and feedback. So we don't know if this is PvP or PvE. I hope this is PvE. If it's a PvE control game, I would be down for that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Just shooting weird, mysterious things with your
Yeah.
tight rocks or whatever she does with that. I don't know. But yeah, are you excited for this news? You excited for the Max Payne 1-2 remake? You excited for Control 2
I
or
have
this
never
Concord?
played Max Payne. I just know of
Me
Max
neither.
Payne.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's the right time to play it now if they're gonna remake it, make it all gutsy it all up and all that good stuff. So I mean,
True.
I'm willing to give it a try. I mean, same like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy. Never played the original. Came out a remake. I'm on it. So I mean, I'll try it.
That's true. That's true. Okay. That's what's up. All right. Yes, and you audience, are you excited for the next wave of Remedy games? Let us know. We don't really seem that excited, but like it's for me, I need to be sold on this stuff. I think I Control 2, I think sounds cool. Maybe I'll go back and play Control 1 when Control 2 comes out, or like
Mhm.
when they release the trailer for it. Will we see a trailer for Control 2 soon? Probably not. Probably not. If they're in like early production, probably until like next year. But yeah, we'll see. Um, before we jump into this this weird Black Ops thing 6 that's happening. Hey you having a good time? You enjoying yourself? That's great. I'm happy for you. Do us a favor. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Please. Thank you. If you're listening, do us a favor. I'm looking at you while you can't look back at us. Anyways, leave us a review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Now, back to number 5. Hundreds of people are already playing Black Ops 6. This comes to us from Insider Gaming. This is kind of a weird thing that's happening.
Mhm.
Okay, so this comes to us from Tom Henderson. It's been a wild ride for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 these past few days, and Insider Gaming has learned that hundreds of people are playing the game ahead of its official release. You're just learning this, so you've been seeing it on Twitter for like ages at this point. When leaks first began, it was assumed that only a few select people had access, but as word has spread, that list of people has grown into the hundreds. People are accessing Black Ops 6 via jailbroken PS4 consoles. All leaked footage is from the PS4 version, with access to the game seemingly being the beta version that the public will get to play at the end of August. One Discord server sent to us yesterday had over 100 people playing with the screenshot was taken before the server was taken offline to fix bugs. It is understood to have been caused by the new beta update. That issue has been fixed and people are playing the game again. Okay, so what's particularly interesting is that people are seemingly not just playing against bots either. Instead, there are full lobbies of players playing against one another. It remains to be seen whether Activision will or can stop people from playing Black Ops 6, but for now, the company has resorted to DMCA takedowns. of the
Mhm.
content posted online. Uh, okay, so okay, one developer told me about the situation. It really sucks to see our big reveal ruin like that. We were all excited to show it off in a big and special way. Black Ops 6 multiplayer is set to be officially revealed at the end of August at or in the COD Next event, which will be prior to Black Ops 6 beta. Yeah, um, if you've been online in any capacity or on Reddit in any capacity, and you just follow any of the Call of Duty subreddits, you've probably seen a clip of someone uh, doing one of the new dives or whatever, and like shooting people. Um, People have also hacked the beta to access low gravity mode, and like it, it's crazy. Yeah, so I guess beyond this whole leak stuff, or from the stuff that you've seen online, Sean, how is your feelings on Black
I
Ops
have actually
6?
avoided all of it because I'm not that
Oh,
pressed to see it. I can wait until it comes out. I am busy
yeah.
playing all these other things. This ain't
Mhm,
like
mhm.
I think I've seen like the zombies trailer
Okay.
because my friend at work
Speaking of
is
which,
heavy into Call of Duty, but
yeah.
this ain't like back in the day where that was my main drug of choice. You know, I got a bunch
Right,
of other things
right.
I'm doing now, so I can wait till it comes out. Especially since I'm not playing it daily like I used to. So you know, it's just that's fine. I
Yeah.
can wait.
Now I get that too. I'm actually gonna play the zombie trailer because that is something that I wanted to pop on. Um, but yeah, I am pretty. I mean, I haven't looked for this stuff. It's just
Mhm.
kind of just been presented to me, just me being on Reddit or whatever. And it's one of the things where, hey, it's me, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka been known to be like, I don't really like Black Ops games. Um, I don't really have that barrier anymore for this game because the guns seem pretty much like current. Like we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
So it has been a thing of like, okay, like now it's just, do I like this whole dive mechanic thing? And I've been on both sides of it. Like the zombie trailer that I'm showing now, it looks cool, but it's round base, and I really don't like round base zombies. Like it's fine, but it loses my interest like
Yeah.
relatively quickly. Um, so it is really just a multiplayer side that I'm judging off of, or I'm like kind of trying to form an opinion on. And of course, I'm going to play the beta because Call of Duty and it's an open beta, and so of course I'm going to play the beta. But I know it in my heart, feel it in my soul that the dive mechanic that allows you to dive in any direction and shoot your gun off is
Mhm.
going to drive the casual and general player base fucking crazy.
What you trying to say?
And huh? What'd
So
you
what
say?
you trying to say?
No, no, it's not even about like, oh, casuals can't play this game or whatever. Like
Mhm.
it is going to accelerate the skill gap to such a degree that it's going to be so just frustrating, just like playing the game, jumping off, playing another game, and coming back to it and
Yeah.
just being like, oh my gosh, like people are just fucking flying around corners, like killing me in an instant. Another thing to note that the health pool has been decreased back to 100 health
Yeah.
points versus 150. So the TTK, the time to kill, could be a little shorter in this. We don't know yet because the gun damage could also be balanced to make the TTK like kind of similar to Modern Warfare 3. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's gonna like that beta is gonna be real interesting. And you know, the other side to it is that they can decrease the effectiveness of that dive. But if they do that, then it's like it's just a pointless feature in the game that doesn't really give you any advantage. So it's like, okay, well, why would I use that? I'll just continue bunny hopping around corners, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. Like I'm really interested to see what this beta is gonna be like and how the general audience takes it because people have been kind of on both sides of the fence with the little clips coming out of people um diving like through a hallway and like killing people as they're diving through. And it's just like, that looks cool, but I would hate to be on the other side of that because that'd be just
I'm gonna
infuriating.
play the story, I'm gonna play zombies, and I'll play multiplayer when y'all playing it, but I doubt it just ain't me, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. All right. So number 6, we have a little Gamescom 2024 watch happening right now. Let me pause it. Why does this thing keep playing? Okay. So with our little Gamescom watch, we've had a couple stories that are all going to be talking about Gamescom. So I just kind of, bunched them all together, put a little bow around it.
Mhm.
So the first one up, Marvel Rivals will have a surprise at Gamescom. So they posted on their Twitter/X page that Marvel Rivals will make a stellar landing at Gamescom. Check out our booth from August 21st to 25th at Hall 6A-505 no 050 for Universe of Surprises.
Yeah.
I love the excitement, Sean. So the reason why I even brought this up is because at this point, the only surprise, I mean, they can introduce other characters, but it seems kind of weird where they just introduced Thor and Jeff the Land Shark.
I don't even see, like, were these in beta as well?
Yeah, so it was a closed beta. So Marcus was playing the beta. So I think the surprise could either be an open beta or a release date or another character. I think the safest thing would be, I mean, the safest thing would be like, oh, look, it's another character. I think the coolest thing would be like an open beta. And I think having a release date would be okay, cool. At least we know when it's coming out.
I don't think they needed to add characters to the beta, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think that's what's really weird is that, like, for a beta for this game, it is really, really, really like solidified. Like there was a battle pass that you can play to. They added new characters to the beta, and it's just like at this point, like what is different? What's the difference between this beta and just playing the game itself? Like other than the amount of people that's going to be on it. So, and of course balancing because balancing is always a thing for these games. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm hoping we get at least an open beta. It'd be cool to have a release date, but I'm hoping for at least an open beta so we can all jump in and play it and be like, oh, this game is actually good, or oh, this game is you know a problem because Iron Man just floats in the air and just shoots people from up top. I don't know. We'll see. The second thing, Sega says its Gamescom lineup includes an unannounced game. This comes to us from VGC by way of, I believe this is Jordan Midler. This is Jordan Midler, the middleman, the middler. Nope, Chris Gillian. I was completely wrong. Sorry, guys. Okay. So the publisher will have 3 playable games at this year's show, but only 2 of them are known to the public. Sonic X Shadow Generation will be playable at the show, making its first playable appearance in Europe. Sega will also have a playable build of Atlas Metaphor Refantasio, which is making its playable debut in Europe. However, it also notes that completing the first lineup of playable titles on the Sega stand is still as yet an unannounced project. So, what do you think that? At first, I was like, "Oh, it could be Yakuza," but like they already said they're going to show their thing at Tokyo Game Show, which makes more sense than a Gamescom. So, I,
The Floygan brothers.
so yeah, it's
No, that's a deep cut. That's a real game that they made on
oh,
the
is it
Dreamcast.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay, I didn't even realize. Yeah, so this
Mhm.
is a thing of just like, all right, well, Sega, to me, Sega's in such a weird place where it's just like they have
Mhm.
Atlas, so they got the Persona games, and then there's a Sonic thing usually always happening, but then they have like Yakuza or Like a Dragon, and that, for lack of better words, is kind of their bread and butter. So we know it's not going to be that, or it can be a surprise where RGG is like, yeah, hey guys, guess what? We're at Gamescom, surprise, and this is not the Yakuza War thing or whatever. Or this, what if Yakuza War is another thing beyond their like surprise. I don't know.
What if
I don't
it's a musical?
I would be down. Give me a musical. I'll take that in the Yakuza game. Sure, why not? You know.
Hmm.
Right. And then last little bit of this Games Watch thing, our Gamescom watch thing. Monster Hunter Wilds headlines Capcom's Gamescom 2024 lineup. This comes to us from WCCF Tech by way of Francesco De Mio. Um, so yes, Capcom is bringing a rather rich lineup to this year's edition of Gamescom, giving attendees a chance to try out, among other games, Monster Hunter Wilds, the next entry in the series' development for PC and consoles. More than 60 playable demo stations will be available for the next entry in this series during the event. That is wild. I don't know. I mean, because Gamescom is a big it's like one of the biggest, I think it is the biggest like convention that we have to date.
Yeah.
But like 60 stations for Monster Hunter Wild is really crazy to me.
I
Um
really wish I was into this game because it seems cool. I may try it out.
I will tell you right now, Monster Hunter is, if you give it time and you dedicate yourself to like a weapon, Monster Hunter can be so rewarding because like I was in the same boat as you when I started with World, but it was a thing of just like I just don't know how to play this game. I'm just going to hit the creature until it dies and just kind of see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not
And it
into
was
chasing down the boss, man. Stand up and fight like a man. Where you running to? You got to chase down the
Right.
what? What is this?
So yeah, it wasn't until I played Dauntless, which
Mm-hmm.
was a like kind of riff
The free
off
to
of
play
Monster
junk.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that was when I was like chasing that Monster Hunter world like vibe. And I found in Dauntless, and like Dauntless, there I sat down and learned one weapon, and like I got good at that weapon. It was just like, okay, I understand how these games work now. So I cannot wait to come back into Monster Hunter Wilds and just like see what they have. And then on top of that, they have been showing a teaser trailer for each weapon every day or every like 2 days or whatever to gear up for the, Gamescom 2024. So they have
Yeah.
been slowly drip feeding this stuff. So it's been really cool, and it actually like shows you like it gives you a chance to be like, okay, I think the great sword looks cool. I'll try and focus on that once the game comes out, or like I like the charge blade. I think that looks cool. So they've been doing some work to promote this game, and they don't really need to because it's a Monster Hunter title. Um, so besides Monster Hunter Wilds, Capcom will also offer the first global opportunity to test out the next Street Fighter 6 DLC character, the guest character Terry Bogard from SNK's Fatal Fury series. Also available will be Ace Attorney Investigation Collection, which include Ace Attorney Investigation. It's just a bunch of the investigation games. Uh, and then they'll have no, Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess there, which is undoubtedly one of the best games the Japanese publisher has put out in recent years.
It's okay.
It's a little bit of editorial right there. Um, and the mobile AR game Monster Hunter Now, which will celebrate its first year anniversary at Gamescom. So yeah, that's cool. I can't wait for Gamescom. That's gonna be next week. We'll talk around it, talk about it once it drops, and we'll talk about all the stuff that releases. But that is not now. That is then. All right. The next thing is, hold on now. Hold on. There we go. Number 7. Dragon Age the Veilguard won't let you control your companions because you can't handle it. This is a much higher actions per minute game. This comes to us from Games Radar by way of let this thing load. Let this thing load. Come on, guys, you got it. Come on, we're all here just waiting. Al Jones. So before I jump into this, th- there's something there's something that kind of irritates me when developers are like, you can't handle this. So that's why we're not going to give this to you.
Mm.
And this is going to be one of the stories where the developer's like, hey, we don't think this is a good idea because we don't think you can handle it. Like, I feel like the proper thing should be, we're going to give you this option, but we don't, if you can play it, great. But, you can just play as your main character and you'll probably have a better time doing that. But yeah, speaking to Edge magazine, game director Corny Boucher explained why Dragon Age the Veilguard is dropping the party controlling formula of previous games, even as it drops your companion count from 3 to 2. On the experimental side, we wanted you to no experiential no experimental. I was right the first time. We wanted you to feel like you are Rook. Boucher explained. You're in this world. You're really focused on your actions. We wanted the companions to feel like they, as fully realized characters, are in control of their own actions. They make their own decisions. That's a major deviation from the rest of the series, but Boucher says there's a simple reason for that. Dragon Age The Veilguard is a much higher action per minute game. It is more technically demanding on the player. So when we tried allowing you full control of your companions as well, what we found was it wasn't actually adding to the experience. In fact, in some ways, it was detrimental given the demanding nature of just controlling your own character. So let me ask you a question, Sean. You remember watching um the little trailer from Dragon Age Veilguard when they showed it Gamescom,
Barely, barely.
right?
Yeah.
And it's an action RPG where you're sitting there, you're shooting the enemies, and you have to dodge. You can do a magic attack or whatever. Was any of that really different from like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Mhm. Well, I don't know how much control they're gonna give you over your person, but you mean like I mean it's kind of like remake as well, where you have your two companions and you're choosing action. Um,
Yeah,
and I guess you can set like their aggression levels and what have you. There's another game you can do that. I think.
yeah. Like for them to say this feels really weird when we have a pretty apt comparison in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in that like you can you can stick to one character, you can stick to a cloud and play him until the end of the game or until they're like, hey, switch to this character for this situation or whatever. We have all that as an evidence of like, no, the system has worked in other games that we've played literally this year. So it to me it's just like I really wish they didn't say like um you can't handle this, or like the actions per minute are so much higher in this game, where it's like from what you showed us, that's not really the case, guys. Like unless
We just got to give them faith and wait till they actually bring the game out.
yeah, that's true.
We'll see.
Like my issue, or my not even issue, like the problems that like I see, and it's one of the things where it happened in Final Fantasy when I was like just playing again, but I forgot that I can just switch to the character, and I switched to the character. Is that like, hey guys, I'm in need of heals. Aerith, please heal me. Please help me. Use your magic ability to help me.
I mean,
And I
but you
was
can
just like,
set things like that in the game.
well, I know, but that's the thing. It's like, well, it depends on what kind of control they give you in the Veilguard in terms of like setting like prioritize healing over prioritizing like attacking and stuff.
Yeah.
But like in Final Fantasy, because you can switch to the character, I just switched to Aerith and had her heal me, and it was just like, oh, cool, yeah, that works. Like I can do that because this game has given me the option to do that. So it's just a thing of like, as Sean said, we could just take their word for it and just see like how the game turns out. It's coming out this year, so we won't have to wait too long. But yeah, it just feels kind of weird. We'll see in the future if they like change that and allow people to do it if there's enough ruckus. But if the game is good and the game works how it's intended, then the game works how it's intended, and we can just move on. All right. Speaking of moving on, we have a couple of quick hits. Number 8. Balatro sells over 2 million units worldwide with major update coming in 2025. Local Thunk committed to bringing it to mobile. This comes to us from Touch Arcade. Um, there's not too much beyond that. Let me find out who is the author of
Man,
this.
when it comes to mobile,
Yeah,
boy.
man. Yeah, man. When it comes to mobile, I'll definitely be jumping on it because I feel like that is where I play my card games, and like it'd be really easy to bounce between Marvel Snap and Balatro, but like I just having to go to my PlayStation or having to just do remote play or whatever, it's like that's too many steps. And like I figured this game would come to mobile because it looks like it is built for
Well, some
mobile in
people
that
have
manner.
already converted their Steam files into like a mobile game because it's touch compatible already anyway.
Oh, that's
I
pretty cool.
just have not purchased it on Steam to do that. I'll just
Yeah.
wait for the official thing to come out. But I mean, people are already doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then to sell over 2 million units is like really insane for
That
like a game that literally came out of
is
nowhere.
bonkers. My man thought
Yeah,
he was
man.
gonna sell under 30 copies and go back to his desk job, and now he can make it rain in Magic City. I need to get on my grind. I need to go make a game. I need to
Yes.
figure out what's missing.
Oh
And
man.
DJ's gonna do the art for it, and I don't know. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, man. Like it's literally like a Cinderella story where it's just like it was like, I'm gonna put this game out and see what happens. And everybody was like, hey man, this game
I
is
mean,
fucking awesome.
he said he really made it for himself. He made something that he wanted to play, and it's like, here,
Yeah.
y'all can play it too.
Yeah,
And
right.
look at that.
And then another little tidbit of this that came from a different article, but it's about Balatro as well. Balatro developer Local Thunk has written into their will. No, wait. Has
Yeah,
written
no, he
into their
did.
will the roguelike IP can never be used by real gambling companies or casinos. Like that is true to your heart. This man or this person does not want this game to be infected by gambling at all to the point where it's like, okay, it's gonna be in my will. Like, no, no one touched this game. That's awesome. And the last quick hit is number 9. Warner Brother is looking at licensing its IP to other game studios. This comes to us from VGC, and I believe this is Jordan Miller. Yes, it is. So yeah, as the title suggests, Warner Brothers is also in a lot of hot water in terms of them trying to sell off properties and just trying to keep themselves upright in the
They
games
see the
market.
money out there. They just don't know how to get it themselves. So they're just like, all right,
Exactly.
well,
Exactly.
it's easier and cheaper to just license out the IP and rake in a cut.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So they're essentially going to be looking for the same kind of blueprint as like Hogwarts Legacy, where they had the IP, they gave the IP to someone who cares about the IP, and they had those developers make the game, and the game was a success. Versus turning to their internal studios to make those games, and they will probably continue selling off their internal studios to make themselves more leaner. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think this gives the opportunity for other developers to touch Batman, to touch Superman, to like really try and experiment and make games for those characters in different ways, possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. So that's it for the gaming news. Let us jump into what we have been playing. So I'll just go real quick because I just got one thing. I have beat Thank You Good. No, wait. I have beat Thank Goodness You're Here. That is a title, boy. So I mentioned it last week that I was playing this like small game called Thank Goodness You're Here, and it is a very kooky game. It's very much in the same genre of the Untitled Goose Game, where you're just kind of going around. You can jump and smack things, and you're smacking butts. You're smacking people to get them to talk to you. You're smacking stuff. You're smacking animals. You're smacking everything in this game, and it's a very very British like humor game. And the ending, the ending, I I compare this to my time playing Viewfinder,
Mhm.
where I had a great time with the base game, and then I got to the ending, and I was just like, "What am I doing with this ending?" Because like it just did a bad job of tying all of your experience into this like little um race that you have to do at the very end.
Yeah.
And thank goodness you're here did something similar, but in the exact opposite way where the all the stuff you're doing in game led up to this essentially do these tasks as quickly as you can while working in this kind of musical situation you got going on. And I think it did such a great job. Like I love the ending, and the way that they set it up is that because it's just all music based, if
Yeah.
you if you miss a thing, that music section will just loop again. So I was at first I was doing things to the beat and I would progress to the next thing and it'd be like a different like song that's gonna play or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'd do it to the beat and somehow I messed up and it went back and I was like, wait, what? Is this part of the thing? And I realized that, oh, I need to actually get these tasks done during the song playing. And like I was able to
Mm.
progress. And it was like, this is such a really cool and really interesting way of like culminating everything you've been doing in this game. So yeah, I had a great time with that. Like I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10 if I would be rating it. But it is such a um it's not even divisive, but like if you don't like the humor, you're not gonna like the game. Like that's kind of what it boils down to. And I found it funny. Like there was times where I was laughing. There's times I was just like, oh, that's a funny joke. But yeah, I had a good time with it. So Sean, what have you been playing?
More Final Fantasy. I am well on my way to mini platinuming the game.
Oh,
What does that mean? This is one of those games where it requires you to play it twice to platinum it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do everything else but play it twice.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
call it a
yeah,
day. And that's
yeah.
that's my personal platinum because F that.
You're gonna
Same thing
platinum
with
it in
Yakuza.
spirit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
same thing with Yakuza. They
yeah.
want you to play the game twice. I'm good.
No, that's
I'm
insane.
good. This
Yeah,
game is already I've already spent granted they say it's like a 30 to 40 hour game. I don't see where, but
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
60 hours into it.
Okay,
Um it is what it
I was
is. But
expecting more actually.
um I don't know. This is a I saw somebody saying this brought back the exploration to Final Fantasy because a lot of them have been open world but pretty linear
Hmm.
for the most part. So I mean,
Hmm.
this has a lot of things to discover, and
Yeah,
I'm finally getting a hang of the mechanics. I'm not the most efficient with it, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing with the game.
yeah. Okay,
Um,
that's good.
I think you'll like it when you actually get down to the brass tacks and understand all the different stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah, because like that, it was the same thing with the Final Fantasy remake, where it's just like, okay, once you get the hang of the features and stuff, you're just like, okay, I understand what's going
Yeah.
on here. You get a new character, you play with that character, and yeah.
And then I have started playing Apex Legends slightly again because I just
Mhm.
went on there one day randomly. I was like, oh, what's this bots royale mode they have? So they finally have like a mini royale where you're just fighting bots. It looks like you have like two player characters on your team though that are supposed to be new to
Uh,
the game.
yeah,
But this is a welcome change from just getting curb stomped by all the people who just play for 8 hours a day. And
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
still enjoy the game, but
yeah.
I don't want to be called all types of random stuff just because I missed the shot, even though I'm the last person on the team alive. And
You're right. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit more relaxing. I recommend it to Demarcus. Maybe you can try it too. You know, because
Hmm.
this it's hard for somebody to jump into the game, and you got people who've been playing for years, and
Exactly.
you're still trying to figure out what the hell you're pointing at.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah, and
That's pretty cool
I
though.
think they have introduced new powers or perks to the characters. I saw something about one of the characters going invisible. Who the hell is it? I forget his name right now. I haven't played this. Crypto. There it was. Something about crypto can go invisible. I don't know. I need to dig
Hmm.
deeper into it because I've been out of it kind of for the past couple months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well, that has been it for us and what we've been playing. That has been it for us in this podcast. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. Don't forget, you can do us a solid by supporting us and supporting our future by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you are listening, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever thing you are using to listen to our voices go into your ears. We thank you. And if you want, you can join in our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord, where we talk about video games, we talk about rumors, we talk about anime, we talk about a bunch of stuff. And it's just, we're all cool people. So join the cool club. The cool club. Yes, do that. All right. Well, that's been it. That's been it. You have a good one. You take care. You keep playing games, keep washing your hands, and make sure you eat. That part's really important because if you don't eat, you can't do a lot of other things like play video games, like listen to our podcast,
Oh, hush.
like wash your hands. You know, you need to do that. All right, guys. See you. Okay. Oh man.
You forgot to say who we were in the beginning of this time.
Oh, did I? Oh, the eight. Wait.
Yeah, it ain't no big deal. It should know that.